Hey guys, what's going on? Nexus here, just bringing you guys part 2 of my gearing tutorial. What we're going to be covering in this episode, since last episode we covered items, reforging and all that stuff, in this episode we're going to be covering talents and glyphs. So basically what you want to go for here is, I'm going to try and be quick about this, I don't want to take too long. Tiger's Lust, you always want this. The other two are no contest whatsoever. Momentum kind of wastes your rolls, especially if you get stuck in one spot by a Frost Nova or Web. Half the effectiveness, at least, of momentum becomes a waste. So it's an absolute waste to use this. Celerity gives you more rolls, so you can, in effectiveness, clear more snares. But the main issue with monks right now is snares. Well, it's not an issue right now, but what I'm saying is, without Tiger's Lust, your issue is going to be getting stuck in Frost Novas and stuff. So Tiger's Lust is definitely something you want. It's going to remove you out of those snares every 30 seconds, or not snares, those roots every 30 seconds. It's going to increase your movement speed on top of that, so you can catch up to them. And on top of that, it's only a 30-second cooldown, and if it couldn't get any better and much more one-sided compared to the other two, you can use this on teammates as well. So if you're a healer and you're using this, then obviously you can put it on your teammates, or if obviously you are yourself, then you can simply help your healer get out of a specific, I don't know, any issue. Helping them line of sight. The point is, Tiger's Lust here has a lot of utility towards your teammates and your composition, your team, and on top of that, it's extremely useful to you because one of our weaknesses, again, is the roots, and Tiger's Lust helps clear that out. So always take Tiger's Lust. Level 30, you want Chi Wave, and Chi Wave is really good because the cooldown is short. All of its damage and healing, especially with Tiger Eye Brew, is really, really nice. The only one I would otherwise take is Chi Burst. If you want all of that damage at once instead of over 8 seconds, or whatever amount of seconds that Chi Wave lasts. I haven't really calculated it. All I know is that Chi Wave does a little bit of damage every second, while Chi Burst does it all at once. So it depends on what you want there. It's based on your playstyle, but most cases Chi Wave is going to be better. I recommend Chi Wave at all times. If you're playing for fun, obviously you can go with Chi Burst. Zen Sphere is pretty crap. It breaks CC. It's pretty much another AoE that's a mess. Just in general, I do not like Zen Sphere. Now, level 45, Power Strikes is complete crap. Ascension at this point of the expansion isn't that great because our energy is so quick, especially if you're stacking haste, you don't really need it. So finally, that leaves you with Chi-Brew, and even if our haste was really good, I would probably still play with Chi-Brew because not only does it give you 2 Chi to get a quick Blackout Kick or Rise and Sun kick off, but on top of that, it also uses Healing Elixirs if you have it. It's going to give you that 50% total health heal. But also on top of that, finally, it gives you Tiger Eye Brew, and with your mastery, you have a chance of triggering extra stacks of Tiger Eye Brew. So this helps with your on-demand burst. It helps you build up those stacks really quick. So overall, Chi Brew is 1,000 times better than the other two. So Tiger's Lust, Chi Wave, and Chi Brew you want at all times, in my opinion. And level 60, this one depends on the class. 99% of the time you want Leg Sweep. 5 seconds every 45 seconds of a stun is insanely good, especially if it forces them to use that trinket cooldown. You pretty much done your job. It helps you do a stun lock kill to try and get that kill and win the match. But if you're facing a mage, they can easily blink out of this, which really sucks. And so instead you want to go with Ring of Peace. This is going to silence them instead of stunning them, so they cannot blink out of it. So if you're facing a mage, you probably want to go Ring of Peace. Actually, I recommend you always go Ring of Peace against mages. Every other class, basically, I recommend Leg Sweep. So that's level 60 there. Charging Ox Wave is too garbage to even consider. Level 75, if you are not playing with a healer, so you could be questing, you could be doing World PvP on Timeless Isle, you could be dueling, you could be doing 2v2s without a healer. The point is, if you do not have a healer, you want to go Healing Elixirs. If you have a healer, I recommend still going Healing Elixirs, but you could go Diffuse Magic to kind of help out with the CCs and whatnot. But either way, Dampen Harm is no contest, it's complete garbage as well. You want the other two instead. Most cases, Healing Elixirs. And finally, for talents, you have level 90. You got Rushing Jade Wind, which does a lot of damage. You mainly want to use this to spend the energy that you have. We have so much energy that Rushing Jade Wind is actually worth using. Then on top of that, you have Zune. If you want the 3-minute cooldown burst damage, you could go with him instead. He's very hard to control compared to Rushing Jade Wind. It's not that hard, but he's definitely harder than Rushing Jade Wind in terms of controlling it, because both of these do break your own CCs, so you want to watch out for that. It also breaks other people's. If those CCs break upon damage, then both of these are going to screw that up. Chi Torpedo is no contest. It's kind of crap as a Windwalker. I would even consider it crap as a Mistweaver as well. So Rushing Jade Wind if you want the extra damage, or Zune if you want the burst damage every 3 minutes. Those are the talents, very simple to go by. In terms of glyphs, there are two you always want. No contest, you want Touch of Karma. If you're facing a ranged class like a hunter or mage, obviously you want this because this is one of your main defensives. If you're at 10% health and you don't have this glyph and you're not near that person, you are screwed. So make sure you have this glyph at all times. Second one you want is Touch of Death. I can't even count how many times, even with this glyph, I'm about to go touch to death that person at 10% health, and they pop up to 50% health, and the match is restarted all over again. So make sure you have this glyph. You do not want to wait for the 3 chi or screw up and forget you don't have 3 chi. Make sure you have this glyph. And finally, for the major glyphs, I recommend Paralysis if you're playing with teammates. So if you're like doing a duel, it's not that big of a deal. But I do recommend Paralysis if you're playing with a second person, especially if they have dots. If they don't have dots, you could go with a few other glyphs. And this depends on basically the enemies that you're facing. Detox I recommend if you're facing Shadow Priests, Rogues, Death Knights. If you're facing like 2 Death Knights in a 2v2 match, you want to go Detox regardless. It's a lot of benefits, or the benefit is really high with Detox when you use it to heal yourself for 5% and clear off all of those diseases. So Detox is what you want against Rogues, Shadow Priests, and Hunters. If you're facing, I don't know, melee, so for example, if I'm dueling another Windwalker monk, we parry each other so much, and it really sucks when I go to Fist of Fury and he parries all of them, and then he CCs me and it wastes my 3 chi and all of that. So what you want to do here is go with Fist of Fury instead if you're dueling specific melee. That way they don't screw up your Fist of Fury. Trust me, it's really annoying and it feels so good when you parry every single one of their abilities while using this. It's crazy. So Fist of Fury would be another one. The other one I could recommend is Nimble Brew for the 10% health if you don't need Paralysis and you're not worried about the other two. That's pretty much all I would really recommend out of those other glyphs, but very simple choice. In terms of minor glyphs, always have Blackout Cake for the extra damage. The last two do not matter, but I think Zen Flight's good because it's kind of saves you from dying. So for example, I could roll off and then turn into Zen Flight instantly and save myself from fall damage. And so pretty much that's all it's really good for. Those are the glyphs, guys. Those are the talents. Let me know what you thought. Hopefully these helped you out, guys, and I'll see you